Jamie!
What's going on?
Jamie!
How's it going?
Whoa. What's going on, man?
Nothing much.
We're live with your host, Jamie Starr, from Florida, in the belly of the beast!
Live from New York, but close
the belly
enough.
of the beast!
So what's going on? You know, I just saw even an update now. I guess Biden and De Niro have been mailed packages.
Yeah, I thought De Niro was going to come up, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already come out in Yahoo News that a lot of people aren't buying it. They think the bombs aren't real. This is Yahoo News, and I think it's just a political stunt.
Well, I have to say, who was I watching last night? I watched some of Mike Cernovich talking about it, and then
He
some.
lost it last night.
Did he? I didn't watch the whole thing.
It's like, why do you think it's a false flag? Why are you saying it's conspiracy? It's like, 'cause it kind of like looks like one.
Well, I have
And
to
then
say,
why do you think they're all connected? It's like,
well, they are.
in like 10
Yeah, they are all connected. That I don't know how you could deny. I think part of it is, Cernovich. I think I think
he was having a bad day.
Well, and I would honestly, I'd hope he'd be the first one to say this, but I think he's speaking from a point of bias, where even like he said, he gets death threats on his family and everything like that. So I think because of that, he's automatically sympathetic towards anyone kind of facing like political acts of violence and stuff like that. I think it's just him being biased in this regards. Because, he's been attacked for political stuff and, like he was saying, threats on his family and all that. But there's like two different conspiracy theories. There's like the MAGA bomber one, and then there's the people saying that's a false flag, which that's the thing I lean more towards. Like, it seems too like perfect, too coincidental. Like let me put it like this. Like, what would be the harm, say, if you were really in a place where, you wanted to attack these political figures? Why do it before the midterms? Why not wait till after?
Well, none of them have actually gone off.
That too. They're all just being found at the houses of.
And there weren't any that got like lost on the way and just blew up randomly. None of that. And as soon as they got a bomb, the first thing they did was went, right, I've been sent a bomb. Then the best thing I can do is take a selfie with it.
Who did that?
I won't bother detonating it. Take a selfie. Got all these photos going around the parcel with the bomb attached to it.
Wait, who?
You not seen all the photos where they're showing the bomb off on the news with the package?
I mean, I saw one of them. I saw one picture.
With all the stamps on it.
I think I saw a picture of the one from Soros's place.
Why would you take a photo of the bomb before you bother like detonating it and stuff?
Yeah.
And also, if you've got a bomb, why would you show the world what they look like? What mail bombs look like? Because then you're just going to get more of them.
That too. That I didn't understand. I have to say, I was surprised when there was even like, here's a picture of the one. I was like, whoa, that's a little odd.
A little odd. It hasn't got any postage stamps on it.
Yeah, that is kind of odd, where it's like, normally with a mail bomb, it's like once you open it, it detonates. So if it wasn't a package, how did they get it out without detonating it?
Yeah, and why did you take a photo of it in that?
I don't know. It's all very suspicious.
What about if they release other sleeper cells? So this is just like the beginning. Because if you're doing that yourself, remember you've got different fractions you can work with. You've got Hezbollah, you've got the ISIS threat. You could use like some right wing. Remember, like Bill Clinton was going on about this during Oklahoma City bombings, going, during Oklahoma City bombing, we were 15 points down. That guy has a lot of sympathy and that won me the election.
Yeah.
Reminds me a lot of, I think the prime suspect would be BitChute, wouldn't it?
You,
That kind of mob.
I have to say I'm just more surprised that it's like some of the targets where it's like, you know, Hillary Clinton, like I understand her and Eric Holder just called for incivility and everything like that, but it still is like she's not running for
Nobody sent them. The
anything.
press did it. The press are in on it. Like the
Well,
Sky
that
News
too.
coverage is terrible.
CNN got mailed a package, and it's like, yeah, that's sort of what I wonder. Where it's like, you know what, the really telling one, even more so than CNN, is De Niro. Like, why Robert De Niro? What does he do besides make movies and run his stupid mouth?
Well, he's got some paedophile allegations running around him, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, that's true. But I mean, I'm trying to think of like motive where it's like if you were like, you know, what's the common thread between all the people? Okay, being anti-Trump. Okay, so they're anti-Trump, but who can do something about it? De Niro can't really. You know what? Like I don't put De Niro on the level with Obama. I think that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I understand going after Obama, going after Clinton, and things like that. Then it's like CNN and De Niro are almost in a different category. Like, I mean, there's all anti-Trump, but their levels of influence and access to power are very varied. And that's where it's I don't know what the end goal of this must have been, like except to make it seem as if the Democrats aren't just on the offense 110%.
It's not going to die down. It's not going to calm down. So I don't know how Trump's going to be able to do. Don't know how you're going to be able to do the midterms because the big threat always was, what if they targeted like a Trump rally?
Well, you know what I think is interesting?
It'd be a good.
Tim Pool I saw doing an article about how under threats of terrorism, even liberal people will vote conservative because it's the conservative party that's like the law and order party.
Yeah, not if it's domestic though.
That's true. I'm sure it's a little different with that.
It's just the way I see Sky News reporting it. They're not really investigating it from ground zero at all. They're just like, must be in on it. No one's that ridiculous at reporting.
Yeah.
They're not even going that they're linked. It's like, well, they're quite obviously linked.
Yeah, I mean, and plus, how many people even know how to build mail bombs like that? Let
It's
alone,
obviously not a terror attack, it's a stunt.
yeah, that I agree with. Because otherwise,
And if you
something
put in
would
a
have blown
stunt,
up.
most stunts where you try and, where there's like someone that's a victim at the end of it trying to portray a victim, it's usually the victim that pulled the stunt.
Yeah,
And this is just sickening. This is why I'm sick by it. Because it just shows where we've come to, the ridiculousness of it all. That is, they're almost, they're almost promoting the idea of mail-in bombs.
well, you know what? To run with your theory, here's where it's really worrisome. Is you have, you know, you've already had Antifa
And
and
this is how
stuff.
you do it. Here's a photo. In case you don't know how to make it like look real, this is how you do it.
Yeah,
There are some good places you could post them to. And then
and
they might let one off. They might do like a postman or something, like have some real action.
well, and I was just gonna say is, you know, you've already had Antifa engaging in a certain level of violence, and that was sort of like unprovoked. You know what I mean? Like they were the ones on the offense from the beginning. Then you had Eric Holder and Hillary Clinton both make remarks basically condoning incivility. You had Mad Max, Maxine Waters talking about harassing people, and now you've had it where there is legitimate or not this sort of attack on these liberal figures.
One of the boxes, right? Don't know which one it was. I should have looked. It's a giant box. It's got a massive Q on it. Not like a handwritten Q, like a digitally printed Q logo.
Hmm.
And you just think, really?
Yeah, that's
I
weird.
don't recognise the logo. It's just got a Q on it. I just thought, really? So someone got that printed up. Either way.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's almost like someone trying to, you know, how like in the comic books the Joker would kill someone and leave the Joker calling card. That's like them trying to tag it to the MAGA, you know, QAnon sort of
Conspiracy now.
crowd. Yeah.
I see what they're saying about it now. I haven't looked for a while. What do you think is going to be next then?
I don't
I
know.
mean, they could keep this up for a while, I guess.
Well, what I think is going to happen is what I was getting at before is, you know, when you had Antifa engaging in these acts of violence unprovoked, well, now we have something that to them will look like a provocation. So I think it's just going to honestly encourage left-wing violence to amplify and grow even more so.
Why are the FBI so shit?
That,
Like, how much forensics
well, I
must be
mean,
there?
if you listen to Steve Pachinik, the FBI are shit from the beginning. It's just a bunch of degenerates running around in dresses, from what he
Like in
likes to
England,
say.
all the American culture we get that we like, it's like CSI investigation,
Yeah,
all
Law
this
and Order.
FBI X-Files shit. They got all this technology, they've got all this forensic, they've got, not only that, they've got this massive spy grid. They should have some people of interest. They know what area they're dealing with. And they've got no leads, just nothing.
Yeah, and
It's just like the FBI going.
and that I find so
It's
hard
like,
to
come on.
believe. Where, like I said, you know, you guys they had the
What do
Unabomber.
we get the bomb? Where we wear CNN? Where we post the photo of it? See if we can get any clues.
I know, and to think like nowadays with the mail, when you buy a package from Amazon, you have tracking numbers and updates every step of the way. Like it should be
Yeah.
between surveillance footage and you know knowing the mail routes, they should already have someone in you know a suspect in for questioning or something. There's no way that this is like unknown unless if it's a planned inside job. Otherwise, someone would be in custody already. It just doesn't make any sense. Because I
You'd
assume
think
I
that'd be
assume all of them are mailed from the same place. Like someone would have had
Right.
to drop off like
Yeah.
12 packages or what in one shot.
Let's pretend for a minute it's completely legit, like it is a proper threat. Some right-wing nut is sending all these bombs. Shouldn't you be taking a bit more, like, wouldn't you shut down the postal just for a bit? I know it's annoying, you have to shut it down, but you think just for a couple of hours, if we could just shut down the postal service, just send a couple of dogs in there if you don't mind.
Well, I think you
Do you
know
think you take it a bit more seriously?
I don't know because just because there's so many postal, you know, facilities. Like I have two that are walking distance from me, but I think if anything they would just gather a
Yeah,
list
it's a
of
local cop job.
well, they no. What I'm saying is, I think they would get a list of you know potential suspects and then just hold up their mail for a bit, like just you know rather than stopping the whole system completely, they would just be like, all right,
But it's all in an area, I know it's quite a big area, but you're looking at DC, New York, and where you are.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not
I didn't
like,
realize Soros lived like 2 hours from me.
yeah, you should pop around.
Yeah, I should.
Open borders and that.
They have to know the origin of them. Yeah, they have to. There's no way with tracking systems and all that they don't know where they're coming from. And again, it's interesting because I was really hooked on. I
But the
think
thing is, you don't need to stop the whole thing. You can take a lot of risk with it. You go, right, if it's an Amazon package or it's a package, pretty sure it's come from like a company or something, slip.
yeah.
But if it's something that's like, not sure, that gets checked.
Well, you know
You're only checking like 20% of it, maybe.
yeah,
No
yeah.
one uses the mail anymore, Jamie.
Well, yeah, except for like Amazon and
Yeah, exactly.
things
So
like
you
that.
should, if you take Amazon out of the equation, take shit like I can't, I'm a bit stoned at the moment. I can't think of other examples, but just stuff like that. Your general
Yeah,
sort of
and also
business to
you know like
business.
letters, like people's bills and shit like that. You can't fit a pipe bomb in a little bill envelope. So I mean all
Yeah, you
that
might
stuff
not
you
want
can
to
just.
bother with FedEx or UPS, like let those go through.
But the other, well, they function on their own anyway. They're outside of that. But the other thing too, though, is that people brought up is that this isn't new because we were having niacin or ricin or
Yeah.
one of those poison agents being sent to Republican senators and stuff like that just a few weeks ago. So it's almost like a tit for tat kind of. Like I said, my concern is now that it actually seems like people on the left are under attack. I think you're going to, like during the Obama election, I heard stories about in Florida where they basically had goons outside the polling facilities, and they would be like, "You ain't going to." They would go to little old ladies and be like, "You ain't going in there if you're voting for Hillary." Like during the primaries, they were bullying people at the polls, which is highly illegal. And I almost worry about things like that. Like if you're going to have like, them do tighter security for the midterms, and then have like goon squads like Antifa posted up outside, being like, "You ain't coming in here if you're voting for Republicans." I don't think it'll go on in my local area, but places in the city and certain other areas, I could definitely see something like that happening.
It could definitely disturb the midterms.
Yeah. And you know what the other thing too is, again, it's interesting.
Or if they did do that, then how much of your mid? I mean, I don't know what midterms are, I'll be honest. But does it rely on a postal vote at all?
Uh, I think with absentee ballots and stuff, yeah, there are some where if you can't make it to the polls, you can mail them in.
So if you, for example, had to shut the mail down, that like be a problem.
It could
I mean, what
be.
numbers are you talking about? That would be that it'd be enough to cancel the midterms, wouldn't it?
I don't think they'd cancel, but they might postpone them. But again, the thing is I don't see postponing or canceling them being good for the left, because this was the whole thing, is that the left was trying to regain power. So canceling them or postponing them only keeps them out of power.
Well, Trump put a tweet out before this caravan started. Find it now for you. Quite an interesting tweet. See if Paul
I
can
mean,
find
I
it.
just think it's interesting because all of the news I had been hearing for days was the blue wave isn't
Right.
happening, the blue wave is dead, the blue wave, it's no chance of it, and now it's like instead of them just losing, they're being attacked. Like, it's almost like they weren't a political threat. Like, that's why I have a hard time figuring out the end goal except to just rally and maybe gather sympathy, because why De Niro? That's like the one I can't make any sense of. Like, De Niro's just some fucking old actor who went out there and said fuck Trump once. Like, okay.
Well, this is Donald Trump, 8th of October. Oh shit. I apologise. I didn't check the year. This is 2012. But yeah, he's just writing about how he wants to just get all these paedophiles, death penalty, fast trial.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, we've known for a while that he's
It's
very
getting so
against that.
dirty, man. Like, surely there's got to be a breaking point for Americans where they're like, fuck this, man.
Well, it is.
Come
I
on,
mean,
like, do you think we're stupid?
it's making
Or
people nuts. That's the thing. Um,
what are most like everyday people saying about it? Like not Mike Sandwich, but just people that you bump into.
I don't know. I haven't really heard anyone talking about it. I assume at work was dead yesterday. There weren't many people in, so no one really did discuss it. But I don't know. I think people would just say that it's awful, and being next to a liberal college, I think they just assume it's right wingers and stuff like that. Dan in the chat's wondering what we think about Tommy Robinson getting retried and having
Oh,
to go back to
Tommy.
court.
My biggest concern for Tommy Robinson is that I'm convinced, and let me know what you think in the chat. Who is Tommy Robinson? Who is he? Is he MI5? Because he's got when he was in EDL, I'll explain again, I don't know if you know, EDL was the English Defence League. It was meant to be like a football grassroots thing. But if it was a football grassroots thing, it would have got shut down like super quick. It wasn't that at all. It was, I know it sounds conspiratorial, but it was ran by pro-Israel groups. And Tommy was the leader of that. It wasn't just like in it. He has done time in government institutions. He's got a lot of names. I like Tommy Robinson. This is the hard thing. I mean, and that's what draws me. It's like, is he working for the establishment? There's a lot of money going his way as well. A lot of money.
Well, and even at that, you know, it's like you look at the.
And when you're in England, it's a small place. We've got a lot of things we need to deal with, and it's £250,000 resource. Really worth it. I mean, yes, it is worth it, and at the same time, no, it's not. And he's now trying to get into UKIP, and UKIP are looking strong. They got Nigel Farage back. They've got Sargon of Akkad working for them. They've got Paul Joseph Watson. They've got Raheem Kassan. They're going to have Trump. Not obviously in UKIP, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's supporting it.
And now Tommy Robinson gets in. What if his defender pulls the plug on it? I just don't know.
Well, and I'm
think 50-50 about Tommy. That's the thing. I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know.
I think too. The thing is, though, is if you look, you know, even if it were the idea that he's working for the Israel and stuff, like Israel has a lot of.
You got to remember, Israel's very much Tommy Robinson's cup of tea.
Yeah.
Because and Israel's got a giant Islamic terror problem.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at. Is that, you know, even if it.
That's how it all became.
Whether it's
at first.
Direct or indirect, it's definitely an enemy of my enemy is my friend scenario, at least.
But the thing is, it's doing a really good job. Like, can anyone act that well? I don't know.
I don't know. I think, you know, if anything, they probably just went to him at one of these points and were like, you know, listen, you know, he's like controlled opposition, whether he means to be or not at some point. But they probably have offered him some level of protection.
Well, we know for a fact he's admitted that when he was in jail, they tried to recruit him.
Yeah.
MI5 for trying to, like, doing deals, like, come on our side. And then, of course, you get the flip in England where lots of people get mixed up with MI5. MI5 isn't all bad. It's fractioned like everywhere else. There are good elements to it. There are bad elements to it. So let's say Tommy is MI5. Is that necessarily a bad thing?
Well,
depends like, which fraction of the MI5.
Yeah, and well, and the thing you were saying, you know, how you were saying about how they had that thing where they were recruiting like school moms and stuff like that. It's like if they're trying to recruit school moms to be little spies and stuff, then they obviously have tried to recruit Tommy Robinson on several occasions if they weren't initially, you know, initially able to do so.
I liked that song that Benjamin did for him now.
Yeah.
Oh, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Yeah, I don't know about Tommy.
What's he going to do after? I mean, he can't really do anything, can he, at the moment? He is in limbo. How long is he going to be in limbo for, I guess?
Well, and that too,
and like, the reason I say that is when he is out of limbo, what's the next route for him? Is he going to go back to building? Is he going to go back to family life? Or is he going to go political? And I always said that when you look at Tommy Robinson's an algorithm, it's just as much as an algorithm as what Trump is.
Yeah, I don't I think if
No, I
anything,
don't know if algorithm's the right word, sorry, but like Google Trend
yeah,
word, you know, it's going to be well up there. So it's got, and when you're that big and powerful,
and
you're an asset
influential.
regardless, whether
Yeah,
you're good or bad. If you're getting that kind of name, publicity.
yeah, that's the thing about it, where I don't think fading back into the spotlight isn't, or fading out of the spotlight is in the cards for him. I think if anything, and I think he was saying this, I watched some of his interview with Gavin this morning where he was saying how if anything it's just sort of re-energized him and stuff like that.
What else is in the chat? Does anyone else watching? Any song requests? Any Guns N' Roses song? Thinking about doing that, we should do some music stuff maybe. I could maybe give you live lesson or something.
Yeah, we can
Try
do
and keep it like themed.
I do bass lessons.
I can't play bass.
Really?
I can play guitar on bass. I can't play bass.
Yeah,
That's what all guitarists do. They don't know when they get a bass guitar, just play guitar on the bass. Just that'll do.
just play on the lower notes and hope it's muddy enough that no one notices when you hit bad notes. But yeah, as far as these bombs, I don't know, what's the list up to so far? Like Holder, Obama, De Niro, Clinton, Soros.
Well, are they actually bombs, or they just like they actually got explosives in them, or what? I mean, I don't know. I haven't checked. Has anyone said like they are bombs, or are they just like
That's what the headline
nuisance
here
amount
on the
toys?
New York Times is saying. Bombs sent to Biden, Robert De Niro, in latest wave of explosives sent to Trump critics.
Maybe it could be. It could be just a giant misunderstanding. Could be that Omer clock. It could just be a school project, like Omer clock, and then Obama will like end up going, "Hey, it's just a science project. It's just some kid trying to build an alarm clock. Okay, stop being so racist."
Whoever
Could
did it
just be
should get
that.
invited to the White House and meet with the president.
Yeah.
Get a science scholarship to the top schools.
I thought George Soros needs an alarm clock because his time's up.
Here's one where it says, a device sent to Mr. Biden was found at the U.S. Postal Service facility in Delaware, a law enforcement official said, similar to the one sent to Attorney General Eric Holder Jr. The envelope was misaddressed and was being redirected to the return sender, written on the mailing address label, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the Florida Congresswoman. Another package was also discovered at the same facility. Now, you know what's interesting about them using Wasserman Schultz as the return address for these is, remember...
Who is it for, sorry?
The return address, they're putting Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the woman who looks like she has ramen noodles for hair.
I don't know who that is.
She was the one that had that office with the Awan brothers or whatever working on the computers. She was the head of the DNC and had those weird Middle Eastern brothers that had like security clearances and stuff. So it's like you almost wonder if it could just be like some like terrorist group or something.
Don't terrorists use real bombs?
Normally.
And then this is just after the caravan's triggered, where they're walking like hundreds of miles in like a couple of hours. They haven't got any dirt on them. They don't look tired. They don't look like they need to sleep. They just like walked all this way to storm, and they haven't stormed the border. They're like, I don't know what they're doing.
Now it
I mean, how
says
do you politically correctly put it?
some packages, including the device delivered to CNN's office in New York, arrived by courier. A law enforcement official said did not know whether that meant the sender of the devices lived in the New York area. Well, I would think if they were all sent on the same... Maybe, because, you know, if you're sending one by courier and then if, you know, Soros's package arrived a day before everyone else's, it probably is closer to New York.
Do you know what I'm going to do quickly? Didn't think of doing this. It's going to be weird.
You know, I just, like I said, I don't understand De Niro factoring into this. Like, if someone's getting a list and they're like, Soros, Obama, Clinton.
Well, do you want to do me a
De Niro.
favour?
Sure.
Just because I can't remember it. What happens if you put in De Niro Pizzagate?
Pizzagate Wiki Spotlight Robert De Niro connected to a known pedophile, 2 alleged statutory rapists, 1 incestuous perv, and questioned in 2 sex trafficking investigations involving minors.
He definitely hands-on that Marina Abramovich, that's for sure.
Yeah,
he is knee-deep
I was
in
just reading
Clintons.
that while you were saying that.
Yeah. Is he related to Roman Polanski? Do you ever done any work with that son of a bitch?
I don't think so. Oh, well, wait, and of course, the known pedophile is De Niro's close friend Roman Polanski. Discuss more in the link above.
Oh, it's a small world, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about that bitch Meryl Streep?
I assume they've both been around Hollywood too long to not be buddy-buddy.
Well, Hollywood is the Democratic Party, right?
Pretty much.
I don't know why you're surprised that De Niro got one. He might not. He's a double target too, because not only if you got this shit going on with whatever, you know, spirit cooking, he's probably in with the Podestas. He did do that Taxi Driver film, wasn't that sort of paedophilic in some nature?
Well, it says here, if you look at a clip from Taxi Driver, notice the butterfly over Jodie Foster's Iris character, and look at the predominant word pizza over De Niro's Travis character. Taxi Driver and Jodie Foster played a predominant role in the Reagan assassination attempt, and it was John Hinckley Jr.'s obsession with Foster that was his motivation.
I'm out of tune. Fuck this, I can't stop the tune. Right, I gotta stop being rude. See, that's the thing, when you start playing guitar, you end up being so rude and just end up hitting stuff.
And here it also says, one of the other
hang on,
things...
sorry to disturb you there. But De Niro's obviously a double target, because not only have you got that going on, but it's not going to be popular with that Facts documentary.
Well, and that's what I was just about to get into. It says right here, he was also the guy who received a phone call right before the documentary Vaxxed was supposed to air at the Tribeca Film Festival and pulled the movie from showing. Who called? Why did he pull it? The information contained in that documentary blows the lid off the autism debate. This, in my opinion, links back to PG because of all the overall pictures of subverting humans to the elites. And it says the most often reported pressure on De Niro from Vax came from trustee of Sloan is the president of Merrick, and just saying that it was the drug companies that are putting pressure on him, and that these drug companies are donors to the Tribeca Film Institute so that they wouldn't allow the movie to end up being aired. Let's see, all these entanglements always seem to back up to corruption in government. Big Pharma becomes part of the national security state. because it makes vaccines for soldiers, but also can produce antidotes for poisons like anthrax or other chemicals used in war. The government stepped in to protect Big Pharma from autism lawsuits when parents begin filing lawsuits on behalf of their children. Basically, the lawsuits would have brought down Big Pharma. Currently, they can't be sued. At least you can say our government couldn't care less about the health of our nation's children, or you might think they were actually trying to destroy their brains/intelligence. Someone says, when I was researching Hollywood and Kevin Spacey, De Niro was coming up a lot.
I mean, you said earlier, you don't know why De Niro. I mean, at the end of the day, De Niro is an actor. And actors act on the big screen. And would he do a show or a film role that put Trump in a bad light? Would he take that role on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Riddle solved, dude. It's just, you can't, they're not going to make The Godfather Part 4. They're not going to make it. They did make it. He ain't going to be in it. They're not doing Taxi Driver 2, thank God. The best opportunity he's got of a decent contract is Meet the Fuckers. And then they gave him a Meet the Fuckers script, and he went, got anything else? I went, yeah. And you could do like a real life, show on CNN. Go, what do I have to do? And they go, you don't have to do anything, we'll just use your name in your restaurant. Then it will damage Trump, and he just went, all right then. Any more chat? Any more questions? Any questionos?
Not right now. 5 people watching though.
It's that note there. Getting that note to sound nice is just not easy. Anything else going on, like, in the world? I guess it's just dominating, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that's
good old October surprise. You've got 5 days left of October,
yeah,
I guess. And then Guy Fawkes is always a biggie. The Anonymous March, that's going to get mixed up the queue. That's just going to be a complete mix smash of crap.
Yeah, I haven't really...
That's what it is these days, it's just a mishmash. Everything's just a mishmash. It's like, what's Guy Fawkes night going to be like when you get a protest? You're going to have like Antifa, their masks. And you have Anonymous with their masks. And you have ISIS with their burqas. And then, yeah, it's just getting silly now. Tell you what.
I mean, other than that, I was going to say the only other thing I've seen in the news is Megyn Kelly. It's interesting. She was on Fox, did the whole thing with Alex Jones where they kind of sent her in to try to take him down, and that didn't work well. But she still ended up being accepted on NBC and switched over there, Well, now she's leaving NBC because she came out to say that on Halloween she didn't see any problem with people dressing, you know, in blackface as long as they were dressing as a black character. Like, if I wanted to dress as Obama, I obviously couldn't dress as Obama without changing my skin complexion. And she just said that was okay when I was a kid as long as you were dressing like a character. So it'd be like, because I already saw articles, I mean, you know, the Black Panther character wears a full body costume. But I've already seen people saying, you know, you can't have your kid dressed as the Black Panther if they're actually white because, you know...
It's a fucking fictional character.
I know. But, you know, Megyn Kelly basically said similar, and now she's been fed to the wolves. It just sort of shows how social justice always kind of cannibalizes everyone. I don't know. But, I mean, it's probably better there isn't much going on. I gotta get ready to head to work in a second.
Yeah, man. I'm going back to work. Not next week, the week after.
Oh, here's actually on the front page of the news, a picture of Jerome Corsi. Mueller has evidence suggesting Stone associate knew Clinton's emails would be leaked.
Stone is dodgy as fuck, dude.
Huh?
I don't trust Roger Stone one bit.
Yeah.
Coke jaw.
Roger Stone's, I mean,
call him Coke jaw.
He's a snake. That's kind of why I like him, because he doesn't hide it either. Mueller's team has spent months investigating whether the conspiracy theorist Jerome Corsi learned before the public that WikiLeaks had obtained emails hacked by Russian intelligence. They weren't hacked by the Russians.
That's what, if you put it camera, this is what Roger Stone does all the time. He's always going.
Hold on, I have a window up.
Just staring the camera out going.
Well, and you know what else is? I always think his hand movements are very... Like, he always looks like he's starting to dance the Macarena while he's talking. Like,
he's on coke, dude.
Probably. He's into some crazy shit.
He's got that coke jaw going on, man. Come on! Come on!
Yeah. I mean, it's Roger Stone. He's the dirtiest player in the game. He calls himself that. I'd expect him to be on something. I know he's a big fan of marijuana too. So I mean, and he never seems really tired down. So it's probably a mix of coke and weed.
No, they don't mix well.
I don't know. Roger Stone seems to have found the secret formula. Maybe he's doing lines of Brain Force. That could be it.
It's getting a straw and doing it anally.
Probably. That could have been what those ads that he got in trouble for in the 90s were all about.
Bodybuilding ads.
Him looking for, swingers and bodybuilders.
I'm looking for a bodybuilder, Jamie. But someone with a good body.
Alright, well...
Come visit me and my wife.
Let's wrap this up for today so I can get ready for work. And,
yeah, just stay away from mailboxes, dude.
I'm going to. And we'll see what sort of craziness unfolds in the next couple days and pick back up.
Is there nothing going to, like... Surely there would be, like, emails, like, going around businesses. Like, if you worked at Sky News, Fox News, worked at CNN, worked anywhere remotely democratic. Perhaps you worked for the Open Society Foundation. Wouldn't they have procedures going, hey, guys, like... We need some procedure for the post.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think so.
Wouldn't people be demanding it if they really did it? Because everyone runs to government to save them.
Yeah.
But there's not really like many people running to them going, hey, a bit nervous.
I don't know. I mean, things like this, part of it is they try to keep like their measures going very hush-hush because, you know, then they hope to catch someone in the act. Like, you know, with the Unabomber, for example... Again, because I had just watched the series, so I'd been refreshed on what went on about all that. I still meant to do a video getting into his manifesto. It's real interesting. He is kind of the ultimate leftist terrorist, because he wanted to destroy all technology and just be like ultra hippie, liberal, communist nature-wise. There's like there's a school of anarchy that's like anarcho-nature that I forget the name of it, but anyway. What they did with him was he said, you know, publish my manifesto in one of these top newspapers, or I'll blow up like an airplane or something. And what they did was they published it, but they thought he was in one specific area, so they set up a sting operation, thinking that if they published it, he would want to go and buy the paper and check it out for himself. So they were just very closely monitoring it and stuff like that. So I really think if they were upping security at any different places, they wouldn't let it be known, because they'd hope that he's going to send out more bombs and try to catch him in the act. But I think everything that whoever this was going to send out, I think they were all sent out. But I do think, you know, that it's kind of telling, the CNN thing going by courier and the George Soros one showing up a day before everyone else's.
It's going to be the week America's going to be in chaos, in a midterm chaos.
Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it, you know, sort of frightens people into not going out in full force for the midterms. That I could definitely see. But we'll see. It's like I said, it's interesting that, you know, they're like the blue wave has crashed, and then now it's like the blue wave is getting bombs delivered. So, but anyway, we can talk more about it on Sunday.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Take it easy, dude.
I'll catch you later.
Right.
All right.
Cheers, man.
Take care.
Watch out for the mail.